Hey folks, and welcome to another Sasoi spikeboarding tutorial and demonstration. We are on the UVM campus, and this is the treadmill loop. It's a small little loop. We're going to do it 4 times here for you, and it is a blast. It has a little high side, low side, a little bit of carving, and some mild elevation on leading out of the bottom of it, and then a little bit of a chunky climb that's great to stand-up spike and kubi cross, or a mixture of the two, and blast around this little oval. So it's a lot of fun, and here we are headed toward the very bottom of this thing. We're going to come in front of this gymnasium, and again folks, we call loops the same way, we name loops the same way that climbers name their technical climbing locations. They give them names, and this one is called Treadmill, and it is a mighty fine loop. There's the field house, and principally we're going to just be looping around the athletic area and some of the dormitory buildings. And there is the kubi cross. So you're seeing spikeboarding, which is a simplified form of cross-country roller skiing. There's the stand-up spike stroke, and it's always ambi-pedal. It's on both sides. And hey, I think that's hockey ice back there, so there's got to be a rink around here someplace. And wouldn't you know it, that spikeboarding is super fantastic cross-training for hockey players of all people, hockey players especially. So a skateboard spike actually kind of lives, it's a hand tool that lives very similar to the hockey stick. It's got to be sticky, it's got to be grippy. You're going to use it with one hand, you're going to use it with 2 hands, and that is what this athlete has in his hand. It's called a skateboard spike. Without it, you wouldn't be able to spikeboard. Also, the skateboard spike lives in the ski pole family as well. So it's half ski pole, and half hockey stick, golf club, tennis racket. Without it, you cannot spikeboard. You cannot perform these 2 kinetic propulsion strokes that you're watching. There's the highest side. We're going to kubi cross up here just a little further, and then that's the high side of the loop. And there's a little bit of a false flat leading to that next left-hand turn that'll take us back down. But we've almost completed this loop, and we're doing this one easy, and then we'll crank out a couple more, a little higher tempo, and do the last one in just a little bit of a cool down situation. But Treadmill offers up a little bit of different pavement, so you got to pay attention. This isn't a beginner loop, and of course it also requires a little bit of cadence braking and a little bit of carving your speed off as you come down from the high side. So there's where we started, and there's the top of the high side. There we are once again at the top of Treadmill. Coming around here, zip in front of the basketball stadium and basketball courts. And as you can see, this is all stand-up spike coming down, and nice big carves to carve our speed off. You could cadence brake just a little bit as well, and some of that pavement is crocodiled, so pay attention, don't let your wheels release. And there's the kubi cross stroke, and straight into a stand-up spike stroke. Once again, we're using the same carbide spike tip that roller skiers use, so there's no mystery in that. And of course, skiing for thousands of years has been humans using their entire body to glide across the surface of the earth using their whole body. So spikeboarding is very much a mixture of skateboard movement and of course skiing movement, and it's probably, I guess, 99.9% meditative state of that of a cross-country skier, which is all technical propulsion and a desire to get from point A to point B most efficiently. So notice how I didn't say fastest, I said most efficiently. So endurance sports, sometimes people think that you've got to race them. You don't necessarily need to race them, and performance doesn't necessarily always mean racing. Racing's a whole nother deal. Racing is rules, it's officials, and it's one winner. That's it. That's all racing is. And you don't necessarily have to race. And please, everybody, remember that the most important part of racing endurance sports is that then we use them to transport ourselves. So we really can't take Tour de France medals or cross-country ski Olympic medals and present them to the planet and say, look what I won. The planet rightly doesn't care much about that. The planet will care about you sustaining yourself on this good earth sustainably, and the more human movement that you can participate with while you're here on this planet to get yourself around, well, the prouder you're going to make the planet, the happier you'll make the planet. So the silent sports, otherwise called transport sports, they are lifelong, and they are recreation that becomes transportation, and that is the trophy. That is the win, guys. So recreate and commute and do this lifelong, and you make the planet proud. So that's the most important part of spikeboarding's advent and arrival, is that it is a very logical and easily accessible transport sport. Once you learn the physical literacy of it, it's incredibly convenient to grab a spike and a board and commute 8-mile distances. Very, very, very simple. And of course, it's a gateway sport. Cycling can be a gateway sport. We used cycling as a gateway sport into endurance athletics and transport sport. Once you understand hydration and calorie in, calorie out, you're going to really be able to apply that understanding of an adaptation to load to many other sports. But this sport in particular, since it can offer you, coach, you, the field sport coach, you, the lacrosse coach, you, the hockey coach, you, the basketball coach, and the football coach, it can offer you a tremendous amount of core development, bilateral limb development, endurance, raised stamina, functional strength for all your field sports. And for you soccer players, if you want double-footedness, you want to increase that ambipedal skill set for your soccer pitch, you will get it. So will someone please tell me which leg is dominant on this athlete? So it's hard to tell, right? Well, you could have had you seen this athlete before they learned spikeboarding. One leg would have been clearly incompetent to perform as it is performing. Well, the same will go for kicking a ball. So the activation of bilateral limb development in the legs at that high level is going to help tremendously when you begin to kick balls left and right. And of course, while you're at it, you might as well start kubi crossing, and then you're going to get more core. And also, you can do some intervals. You might gain a little more stamina, lower your heart rate a little more. But that little chunky climb there is absolutely delicious. You can just throw yourself at it and go full barrel out up that thing and finish it off with a stand-up spike. Right as you're maxing out, you can just tap right into the core and that lat and drive it hard, and you're going to like treadmill. So that's the best part about it, when you find these little tiny loops where you can really just start counting them off one after the next. And if you can manage to do little staircase intervals on them, it's mighty fine. So you could do 3 on and 2 off, or you could do 6 on and 1 off, however you want. Take a little rest on one loop and set up the interval ladders any way you want. Or you could come out here maybe once or twice a year and just rip 10 of them straight, or however you want. Or you could do treadmill, 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, no problem. So we're going to do our last little loop here and just chill out and really relax with it, sort of cool down. So you're seeing a very casual way of spiking, especially coming down this hill. Notice the neutral carry there when the spike isn't being used. Stays parallel to the board. And of course, there's a great deal of one-armed action that can happen in spikeboarding, and 1/1. There's a little 1/2. There's back to the stand-up spike, as a 2/2, and there's a little 1/1, just alternating and skipping. The leg stroke, but as you can see, once the skill sets are learned, it's a very casual and very rewarding physical literacy to learn. All you Nordic skiers, it's a mighty fine way to come back to this gym and get yourself cooled down. You guys go out and do some really hard skiing. 30 minutes of this in a cool down is just going to make you feel mighty fine. Really nice. So this athlete cross country skis on wheels, so we know what we're talking about here. And of course, on days where your brain is just in a vice and the rigors of your dedicated sport are getting to you, and you are on an easy rest day, whether that's a Monday or Friday, just go out, active rest, do a little spikeboarding. You're going to be activating very similar cross-country skiing muscles, and you're gonna enjoy yourselves. So no one's telling you to stop cross-country skiing. Cross-country skiers do a tremendous amount of cross-training. We know this, and spikeboarding is a very nice way to do it. So here's the climb one more time, nice and easy on this one, no problem. Just a little bit of switching with the Kubi cross, and relax, not putting much into it, taking it way down to about zone 1. So folks, we hope you've enjoyed this treadmill video, and spike hard, spike often, spikeboarding, and we will see you at the next one, guys.